Hello, students. This is Mr. Nguyen. Thank you for joining me. Today, we're going to be talking about how to write equations in slope-intercept form for parallel and perpendicular lines, okay, using IXL. So before we do that, though, let's review really quick how we do that, okay? So first, the first thing is you have to read the directions and determine whether you're writing the equation for a parallel line or for a perpendicular line, okay? From then you're gonna say, okay, if I'm writing equation for a parallel line, then I am going to need a parallel slope, right? And if you are writing the equation for a perpendicular line, you will be looking for the perpendicular slope, and we'll be using these two definitions here in order to determine what the slope is going to be, right? So for parallel lines, you will use this exact same slope that they give you. For perpendicular line, you're going to be using opposite and reciprocal slope, okay? So opposite just means the opposite sign, positive versus negative, and reciprocal is the flip up the number, right? So denominator and numerator flip, right? So if it's 1 over 4, the reciprocal would be 4 over 1, for example. And then so that will give us a slope, and then we also need the y-intercept because the y-intercept is going to be different, right? So we have to look for b. To solve for b, we use the given point that they give us and the slope, and we substitute it into this equation, y equal mx plus b, and then we can solve for b. Once you get b, you can write your equation, okay? So I'm going to demonstrate these 4 different steps here using IXL. So let's get started on this first example. This first example will give me an equation, and I'm going to circle this, or I'm going to draw a box around this equation right here, and I'm going to rewrite it. This is the given equation, okay? And I'm going to call this line 1, okay? L1 for line 1. Okay, I'm too lazy to write the word line, so I'm going to call it L1. Now, my line 2 is the one that I'm looking for. It's going to be perpendicular, so I need to keep that in mind. Line 2 has to be perpendicular to line 1. So my equation will be y equals, and it's not going to be the same slope. The slope here for the given line is 1. I'm going to do the opposite reciprocal of that. Well, opposite reciprocal of 1 is negative 1, right? So my new slope is negative 1, and then x, and then plus b, okay? Plus b, because I do not know what b is, okay? The old line is a negative 5, but the new line is something different. I don't know what it is. I have to find it. So how do I do that? Well, I take the point that they give me here, negative 4, and negative 6. Negative 4 is my x value. It comes first in the order pair. Negative 6 is my y value. So what I do is I take these numbers and I place them in where x is. All right, make sure you put it in the right place. And I put y where y is, and I'm going to have an equation. And this equation will allow me to solve for b. So let's substitute these numbers in. So instead of y, I'm going to put negative 6 here equals negative 1 times, and I'm going to put that in parentheses, okay, negative 4 plus b, okay, because I'm trying to solve for b. I don't know what it is, okay. Now I'm going to simplify this mess, okay. Negative 1 times negative 4 turn out to be positive 4 plus b. And then the negative 6 is still there. Now I'm going to solve this one-step equation for b. So to solve for b, I'm going to I'm going to subtract 4 because I'm moving that to the other side. So it's going to be inverse operation, which is turning the positive into a minus, right? So it's plus. So I'm subtracting the 4 away. So negative 4 and negative 6 combined will give me negative 10. All right. If you are not sure, guys, just use a calculator to check real quick because sometimes you mess up on your sign and it's uncalled for. Okay. So do your calculator. Negative 6 minus 4, which gives you negative 10. Well, now that I have my b, I could actually substitute it in here and write my equation. So my equation would be y equals negative 1x. You really don't have to write that 1, but you do need the negative. Plus negative 10, or you can put minus 10, right? The IXL will take it either way, okay? Plus negative 10 seems to be a little bit silly, so we're going to do negative 10 or minus 10. So y equals negative 1x. You can put 1x if you want, okay? You don't have to. Um, Minus 10, or you could also do plus negative 10. It doesn't matter, okay? Submit. Perfect. Okay, let's do another one. This one is going to be parallel. Parallel, it's actually easier because here's the given line. Here's the point. So I'm going to start out with parallel. So I'm going to do equals y equals 2x plus 9. That's my original line, right? My original line. So line 1 is original. My line 2 is going to be parallel. Okay, so parallel means I'm going to be using the same slope. So my new line is still going to have 2x in it, right? Same slope. Plus b. I do not know what b is. I got to find it. Again, the process is the same. I'm going to substitute 2 in for x and 7 in for y. Why do I have to do this? Well, if I want to solve for b, I got to know what the other letters are, right? So y is going to be 7. 2 times parentheses here for multiplication. And then I'm going to put 2 in there plus b. Okay. And simplify this equation will give me 7 equal to 4 plus b. And then subtract 4 because I got to move that over there. It's positive, become minus. So b would equal 7 minus 4 is 3. Okay. This important number right here is going to go in here. So my equation will be y equals 2x plus 3, okay? And that's what we're going to type in. Y equals 2x plus 3. After you've done a few of these, it's very repetitive. It's like the same step over and over and over again. And that's math. Math is very repetitive. And you do more of them. The more you do them, the easier they will become, okay? Submit. I'm going to drink some water before I begin the next one. All right, so we're going to do another one. This one is perpendicular. I like more perpendicular problem because there generally is a little bit trickier because of the slope. So here's my given line, right? My given line. This is line 1. Y equals negative 3x plus 9. Okay. Oops, I got to put the plus 9. So that's line 1. Now, line 2 is actually perpendicular. So perpendicular means opposite and reciprocal slope. Well, the original slope is negative 3, right? Opposite of that would be positive, and the reciprocal of 3 is actually 1 over 3. And because the number is positive, you do not have to put the plus sign in front. It's understood, right? It's automatically positive if there's no negative sign. So the slope for my new line is actually 1 over 3. So I'm going to write this. Y equals 1 over 3 x plus b. Remember, we don't have b. We have to find it, right? So we're going to take this point. We're going to put 7 in for x. And we're going to put 2 in for y. Okay, and don't be scared by those fractions. Your calculator will take care of anything for you. So 2 equals 1/3 parentheses for multiplication 7 plus b. All right, now to clean this mess up, okay, 2 equals, well, it's 1 times 7, which is 7, and then over 3. Okay, plus b. Now this is where you guys are gonna be, I don't know how to do this. Well, it's easy, same thing. Move the 7 over 3 away from b. That means you're gonna be subtracting 7 over 3 on the other side. Okay, you're gonna be, I don't know how to subtract that. That's okay. If you don't know how to subtract those two numbers, you have what we call a calculator, right? You can go in here and say, okay, how do I do this? I'm gonna do 2 minus I'm going to put the 7 over 3 in a parenthesis. So 7 divided by 3. That's my fraction, 7 over 3, right there. So 2 minus 7 over 3. When you do the subtraction, it's going to give you this decimal value, right? You can convert it to fraction by going to math and then hit enter twice. 1, 2. So the answer is negative 1 over 3. So my answer for B is negative 1 over 3. So this important number is going to go in here. Okay, so here's how I'm going to write my equation. Y equals, the slope is 1 over 3x, so 1 divided by 3x, and then minus 1 over 3. That's my B value, okay? So don't be intimidated by the fraction. Just use your calculator, okay? Submit. Ta-da! Awesome. Okay, we're going to do one more and I'm going to stop, okay? Because it's very repetitive. This one I'm doing parallel, which is easy, right? So here's my original line. Y equals negative 1 over 4x minus 5. Line 1, L1. L2 is the one I'm writing for, L2. It happened to be parallel, so the slope is exactly the same. So this whole part of my equation is the same. The only thing that's different is going to be my B value. So my new line is y equal negative 1 over 4x plus B. Okay, plus B. So now I'm going to substitute. I'm going to take this point. I'm going to put 5 in for x. Okay. I'm going to put negative 3 in for y. Okay. So this is going to be negative 3 equals negative 1 over 4. And then parentheses, x, which is 5. Close the parentheses, plus b. Okay, and then I simplify this thing. Well, to simplify this, I do negative 1 times 5, which is negative 5 over 4. So it's going to be negative 3 equals negative 5 over 4 plus b. All right, again, to solve for b, I got to move this fraction over here. So it would become plus, right? So it's going to be plus 5 over 4. Okay, and again, don't be intimidated. Use your calculator to solve for b. So we're going to do negative 3. Don't forget this is a negative 3 plus 5 over 4. Okay, clear. Negative 3 plus parentheses 5 divided by 4. Enter. Change it to fraction. Negative 7 over 4. So negative 7 over 4 is my b value. And I'm going to substitute that into here for my equation. So this is how I'm going to write my equation. Y equals negative 1. Oh, wait, that's not negative. Negative 1 over 4x. Don't forget the x. And then minus 7 over 4. So that's my equation. I'm going to hit submit and I am done. Yeah. So the rest of these, the practice problems are going to be pretty much the same, right? So you guys try it out. If you have any questions, shoot me an email or type it in the comment. I probably won't answer your comment questions. So just, it's easier to just email it to me. You are my students. You know who I am. And thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Thank you. Bye-bye.